Good morning, everybody. We are live here on New Year's Day here on the right side of campus. It's January 1st, 2018. How about that? 2018, not 17 anymore. It's the new year. We're going to get you going here. First day out of the new season. And Donnie Rightside, you're here with me live. There's not everybody here today. I don't think there's anyone down at SBR. Everybody's home. Everybody's in front of the computer, the TV. We're here. We're doing the show. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, feeling a little bit better than I am yesterday. Watching the ball drop last night with the wife, the kids out cold, mother-in-law's out cold on the couch, sitting there with the flu-like symptoms here. Feeling a little bit better today, Jeff. But again, we like to say, what? The show goes on. Costa Rica right now. But, hey, the show must go on here in the Northeast, Jeff.
No, I hear you on that. We got a lot to do. We'll relive what went on yesterday and over the weekend in football, college football, NFL. We got some big-time football coming up today. Donnie Wright said in the college ranks. You got some of the Citrus Bowls and those kind of bowl. But then you have the big ones tonight, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. I mean, Donnie, can you get two better games than that? I mean, really? I mean, can you get two better games than those two tonight?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I haven't been that excited in bowl season. Haven't really bet that much outside of live betting in bowl season. But those Final Four games, I still call it the Final Four. I don't call it the playoffs like they do. They're good ones, and I'm really looking forward to that Alabama-Clemson game here. Looking at the live odds board right now, hasn't moved off 3. It's a little bit of double juice, juice and a half at a lot of outlets out there. Jeff, we'll cover that game. We'll go over it, but a lot of fun. I mean, all 5 games today, big matchups. I mean, whether or not South Carolina, Michigan turns out to be a good one, at least they're marquee type programs there. Central Florida should be fun to watch versus Auburn. See if they can hang with them. The normal Notre Dame always playing on New Year's Day playoff as well. So it should be a lot of fun to watch today, no doubt about that.
And we'll break them down. I got some stuff for each game. Bigman, I fucking love you, dude. Thanks, James. That's nice of you. I appreciate you as well. Adam says no faces. I think it's just your thing there, my friend. You might want to go back out and go back in, Donnie Wright said.
Yeah, when I'm on my phone a lot, when you hit the gym or you're out and about, I get that a lot when you're in that waiting room and it never flips over. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that it does that.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we are using Hangouts, Google Hangouts today. We usually have a producer and that kind of thing, but we're doing our own thing today. So as always, we usually have a great producer and they help us out, but today we're using a little different system. So that's a little different. Donnie, last night before we get into the show, sports stuff, I was I saw the on New Year's anymore. You barely even realize that it's midnight, but I actually did. It was like 10 minutes before, and I went out and I was watching the whole thing, and there's something pretty beautiful, Donnie, about that. I mean, the whole like New Year's, because like they turn off they don't talk, they just let it all happen. Pretty beautiful, isn't it? The whole, 12 o'clock midnight to play that little song and, beautiful thing, isn't it, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new beginning. A lot of people like new beginnings. Hey, I did this last year or I, tried this last year. It's a new year. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to improve my health. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to try to make more money, try to improve my relationship status, whatever it would be. That's always the fun part because, just being in the human race, so to speak, you're always trying to improve. If you're a worker, get better. And every new year, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. It's like you get that fresh start again, which is sort of invigorating.
Yeah, no, it is. And, I hope we wish everyone a very happy new year. Donnie, let's get into the show today. Before we do that, welcome into everyone out there. We appreciate you tuning in here today. Hit the like button. Let us know you're out there. What else do you have to do except to listen to us? I mean, Donnie, it's 10 o'clock on New Year's Day. Where else could you want to be right now? Mm-hmm. You don't have to work. You don't have your boss busting your balls. You're here.
Got a hangover, get that coffee. Maybe you want to turn the volume down a little bit right now, just see what's going on out there. Yeah, I mean, it's nice.
Rashawn Brown, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Eagles are doomed. Other than that, Good capping. Oh, thanks, Rashawn. We didn't need you to tell us that. Thanks. Oh, yeah, you're a Patriot fan. Forgot about that.
We'll have some fun with that.
Must be nice. Must be nice to have fucking Tom Brady. Never get injured and nothing ever happens. But, yeah, we'll talk about it. Donnie, let's get into the NFL. Obviously, today is Black Monday. if you will. A lot of coaches getting fired. Last night, coaches are getting fired. John Fox is out at Chicago. Oakland, Jack Del Rio's out, maybe paving the way for John Gruden, which would be interesting. Chuck Pagano finally out at Indianapolis. That was about 5 years too long, maybe 2 years too long. Jim Caldwell, I believe he's out at Detroit, which I know, Donnie, you've mentioned. I remember we had a spirited argument, you and I, that you thought Jim Caldwell was a good coach. Does that surprise you that he's out at Detroit?
It's funny, too, because you just fired your most winningest coach in franchise history. And me and Gabe joked about it yesterday. It's not so much if you like Jim Caldwell, not like Jim Caldwell, but you're the Detroit Lions. Like, he puts a competent product out there, and you fire Jim Caldwell for what? Like, to go get Mike Vrabel? Like, they're interviewing for the Houston Texans. Like, you know what I mean, Jeff? It's like saying if you have something hot on deck, like we finally pried this guy loose, we're bringing Bill Cowher back, just to use that as a name. Like, carpet, this guy's been waiting to get back in the game. But, you fire a guy who ran a competent ship, and then you don't have anything really on the back burner. So you're going to go that old Matt, like Dave Taub, special team coach in Kansas City. Like, sometimes it's just a little bit of head scratching there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's like, you have to really, I guess, know what you're doing to do what you're doing. But I think some of these teams sometimes just overreact a little bit. Look, Jim Caldwell's – look, if I had to choose between coaches, he wouldn't be my number one choice. He wouldn't be a number 5 choice. But, again, over the other options, he is the best option probably right now. But, and then you look at a guy like Mike Mularkey, who – I mean, look, he saved his job. They get into the playoffs, but keep in mind, it wasn't easy. I mean, they didn't play well yesterday. They couldn't score touchdowns. They couldn't put away a Jacksonville team that I know had still been playing their starters, but you're playing for it all there, and you still barely get it done. I mean, they make the playoffs. Big deal. You get to the playoffs, they're probably losing the first round, and Mike Mularkey's safe for another year. It's bullshit. I mean, Donnie, you and I both know Mike Mularkey's not a good enough head coach in this league. He's not. He's a bad hire. He's an old guard kind of guy. Just because he gets into the playoffs and goes one round longer, I mean, why are we rewarding that? I mean, did you? I mean, I guess you have to. It's the NFL. It's the culture. But you would agree, Mike Mularkey's not a guy that should be leading an NFL team.
No, I mean, he's an okay coach, but when you look at some things like that, when you're hired, let's just say, Jeff, if you're hired in your defensive, coordinator background, and your defense is really good. Let's say you give up, you're in the top 10 in the league, let's just say, or top 5 in the league in defense, but your offense struggles. So you know what? We probably made the right hire as a head coach, because his defense, his background is defense. We just got to get somebody who's going to run the offensive side of the show. If you're Mularkey, you're an offensive guy, Jeff, and you're the head football coach, that lands right on you, because watching the Tennessee offense, it should be run a lot better than what it is at this point. And we all joked all season long, like DeMarco Murray versus Derrick Henry. I mean, Jacksonville's a really good defense. So Henry's banging his head up against the wall trying to run the ball, but had that one, I think, 65-yard play. But DeMarco Murray averages like 3.6 yards per carry, Henry 4.6. But they just kept splitting the carries for the entire season. Like, how come when everybody else knows, Jeff, like, run a little bit more up-tempo, use Derrick Henry a little bit more? Is it that hard out there when we can see that at home, but the head coach can't?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think and I think people are saying, somebody's asking who's a coach that you would want. I mean, I guess it's like a Josh McDaniels type, or somebody like that. But
be good. His next go around is going to be pretty good. The one I always laugh at, Jeff, like, and I guess, and I get it. Like, Josh McDaniel, you like the second time around. He was really young when he got that Denver job. Didn't work out so well. Tried to bring that whole Belichick thing out there. Didn't work. Comes back home. Learns again. I think he's going to be a good head coach coming out. The one that always like interests me, because I sort of get a little chuckle, is you hear like the longest tenured assistant coach or whatever is Pete Carmichael down in New Orleans. Now, when I would like Pete Carmichael, Jeff, if let's just say he gets the Detroit job, is he bringing Drew Brees, and is he bringing Sean Payton with him? You know what I mean? Come on, man.
I've also heard Jim Schwartz's name being thrown around in the Giants.
I don't get that for the Giants. That makes zero sense to me.
I don't
Jeff.
really understand why you'd want him as a coach, as your head coach. I mean, he's a good coordinator, but I mean,
so like the Giants are in that mode where they're trying to move on from a quarterback. So why would you bring in, like, let's just say you got the number 2 overall pick and you take Josh Rosen. Let's say Rosen goes there. don't you want an offensive guy that can like ease him in and, make sure he's on his P's and Q's? Like Jim Schwartz is probably sitting over like, offense, what the hell's that? Let me just worry about my defense and I'll just pick a coordinator out there. You need an offensive guy, don't you?
Let me ask you, John. Let me ask you, Donnie. If you right now had the choice, Jim Schwartz or Spags as a defensive coordinator for the Eagles, who would you pick?
I honestly like Jim Schwartz. He's a little bit of fire. Maybe if you asked me this question, Jeff, like 5 years ago, it would be Spags. But Spags is a really nice guy, and I think he knows football. But those Giants defenses don't give you anything to look at anymore. I mean, what did he get that race car? Put in the NASCAR package, which ended up getting him the job in as the Los Angeles Rams head coach, or obviously St. Louis head coach at that point. But yeah, no, 5 years ago would have been Spags. Right now, I probably still would lean towards Schwartz. Schwartz has pretty good defense going on.
We'll see the old guard, the Mike Pettin types. We'll see those, but we will also, Donnie, I'm sure, see people that we don't think should be NFL coaches that are NFL coaches. I mean, it's just how it will go in the NFL. But, Donnie, we relive what we saw yesterday. Talk about some of the numbers and that kind of thing. The Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs. How about that? 1990, I believe, was the last time they got into the playoffs. What was it, Donnie? It was 1990?
1999.
There you go. I was 10 years old at that point. I was a young big man on campus. I'm 27 now. So, 17 years, a long time to go out making the playoffs. But, okay, Donnie, it's been a day. Can we move on now? All I fucking see is Buffalo Bills shit. They made it. Move on.
Jeff, we like to complain about as well, like the Buffalo making the playoffs, which is great. And you can exalt, you can exhale, you can say this is fantastic. But you get a little like Philly follows, I guess, Shady McCoy up to Buffalo. Yeah. The most important guy on your football team goes down with an injury.
Sure.
And I know Shady's a quick healer, but he's a running back. He's built on cuts out there. He had a nasty ankle injury. If he could play, he's going to be hobbled. They get into the playoffs and their hammer goes down, man. What a shame.
Brutal. According to NFL.com, he could play Sunday, so that's good news. But again, when you're a running back, it's all about cuts and things like that. We'll see. But hey, congratulations, Buffalo Bills. Now those nut Bill fans can those guys who go to the games
go through some tables today. Yeah. You're throwing it down.
Now you can really go through tables, jump off your RVs. It's good stuff. They also, Donnie, what a bad season. Well, not a bad season. What a disappointingly frustrating season if you're a Ravens fan. At home, you can't even beat the Bengals. The Bengals have quit. They don't care about the season. It's Andy Dalton. It's Marvin Lewis. If you're a Raven fan, you got to wonder, same old stuff with this team every year, seemingly lately.
No, and it's funny, Jeff. You see, and it started this week. We talked about it on the show, and I tweeted out a couple times. If you remember last week, Harbaugh was upset that they put the game at 4:25 for the Ravens because he didn't think that people would show up at the game because it was New Year's Eve. And I just wanted to scratch my head at that point, and I said, you know what? If he's really worried that the Cincinnati Bengals, who Marvin Lewis is back or not back, they're banged up, they don't even give a damn about this football game. And your head coach is not worried about preparation, but he's squawking to the media saying it's an unfair disadvantage that you put us on at 4:25 when there was 10 other NFL teams out there, Jeff, on at 4:25. I didn't hear a single person complain. It was one of the more ludicrous things I've seen. And to see John Harbaugh lose at the end of the football game, I just wanted to watch the presser and just have him spout off I can't believe the NFL put us at 4. Dude, they didn't put you at midnight on New Year's Eve, man. They put you at 4:25 in a must-win situation where you roll out of there, what, Jeff, 7:15, 7:30, go off to your party, you get drunk, you have fun. What was he even talking about?
Quit whining. What a bait.
Come on.
Detroit, they easily covered. That game was pretty meaningless for the most part. Donnie, a bad beat though on the over. 35-11.
We're going for two out there, Jeff?
35-11. Game goes over by a half point if you got the closing number. That's a tough one. Or goes over by a point or 2 points. I'm sorry. Still, though, a bad beat nonetheless. We talked about Buffalo. They get the cover. Donnie, Buffalo, by the way, is a very dirty team. I want to point that out. Watch out for that group. Every week, they seemingly get involved in some kind of fracas during the game. They lead the league in unsportsmanlike conduct penalties and personal fouls. So watch out for them. They're a team, Donnie. They headhunt. They start fights. And when you get Buffalo and Miami together, Both those teams, Donnie, actually 1-2 in the league in unsportsmanlike
Oh,
conduct
yeah,
penalties.
yeah. When you got Indominus Sue leading the way on one side, you know what I mean? You know it's going to be ugly there. And they fought right to the end. And it's one of those games, Jeff, where Miami's out of it. It's like, what the hell do I care? Let's just get into a little Donnybrook here. People are getting tossed out of there. The refs out there calling out like 75 different numbers, 15 different times. It was kind of hilarious that was an NFL game, and that's how it was broadcast late. But
Yeah, I mean, they were calling out numbers that didn't even exist. People didn't even play on the team.
44, yeah, exactly. Come on.
24. They don't have a 24.
Threw a guy out twice.
Yeah. It should be like if you're a cop, Donnie, and you get something wrong on the ticket gets thrown out. That's how it should be in the NFL. If the penalties are called wrong, they don't count. It's got to be right. Come on, we're running a league here, for God's sakes. But Donnie, does it surprise you at all that the person that twisted the ankle of Sean McCoy, does it surprise you that Ndamukong Suh is involved with that?
No, he's big on ankle twisting out there. And anytime you get somebody under the pile, it's funny. I've seen a lot of Shady McCoy injuries in that same thing where he gets carted off the field, miraculously comes back. I'm glad he escaped the X-ray there, but it's a tough beat because, I mean, they showed like who gets carries on the team. Like Tolbert's got like 300 yards on the season. They're in trouble without Shady, but hey, they made it to the playoffs, and that's really I saw last night. Like you're right, Jeff. Seeing the media coverage of it, it was like I don't know, like. They made the playoffs as a wild card. Now they're going to go on the road, arguably as a touchdown underdog. But it was such a big emotional thing. I don't know. I guess we're not in the same shoes there. As it's been that long of a playoff drought, but it was a lot of excitement for a 9-7 football team.
I agreed. Yeah, it was kind of getting annoying. Donnie, they're talking hockey here on the NFL or the chat here.
Yes. Do we have an outdoor game today, Jeff? I think we have an outdoor game, don't we?
That's banned on the show. No hockey talk. No, I'm only kidding. We just don't see it much on the show. That's all. Yeah. Carolina, Donnie, at Atlanta. Atlanta gets the win here. They get the cover. Game stays under. Cam Newton was awful in this game. Terrible. I mean, if this is the Carolina team, I think you're going to see Cam Newton, kind of pissing on himself. What do you think?
Yeah, Jeff, 2 weeks ago we talked about like who's your dark horses, and both my dark horses seem to be dark horsing themselves like it was in The Godfather where the horse head's going to end up in a bed out there. Looking at Carolina, Jeff, what's the one thing we talk about when we bet Carolina? When you look at Carolina, you never know what you're going to get from your coach. Like you get Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees ready to go out there. If you got a Carson Wentz, he's ready to go. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Like if they don't play well, they're engaged and they're ready to go. It just seems like sometimes, Jeff, you can see within the first quarter what Cam Newton wants to do in that football game. And it was one of those games, Jeff, where it looks like he just checked out right away and didn't give a damn. And that's going into the football game where last week you saw them take a deep breath. Whoo! And snuck into the playoffs here. We got to go to Atlanta next week. At least we don't have to win. And, Jeff, didn't Carolina play like that? Like we didn't have to be here or win?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of just laid into that game and played that way the whole game. New Orleans, Donnie, I mean, are we concerned at all about this defense? I mean, they played their hearts out, gave up 31 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was refreshing to see a little bit yesterday. You can move the ball against this group, but that offense is pretty good. And, Donnie, I get the feeling they're going to come into Philadelphia and knock out the Eagles.
Well, I mean, you're looking at it, which is my favorite thing. Like, me, I love the NFL. I love spots in the NFL to look at. The actual fact that the Eagles are going to play now on Saturday as opposed to Sunday coming off their bye, you're going to catch a team probably on a short week. But when you look and you say the Eagles are dead, look, yesterday, not a single starter should have played for the Eagles. I didn't agree with Nick Foles even getting one snap yesterday because there was nothing to prove at that point. And in the NFL, you're creatures of habit. If the
really just made him look bad, actually.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like you're a creature of habit. So you're going out there, and everybody knows on your football team, Jeff, look, we're in the playoffs. We have a bye week. We're going to party tonight, right? We don't even care about this game. And I don't even know how long we're going to play. Maybe a series, maybe two. Like if that first drive that the Eagles had where Nick Foles throws to Torrey Smith and he catches it and he runs it down, let's just say, because wide open, easy first down, probably would have got him down into the red zone. And they score a touchdown there. Does that propel like your fandom or what you watch? Like, oh my God, like they're ready now. I didn't understand at all to play your starters in that situation, not even 1 second, because if it goes south where he didn't play well, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But if you had one drive against a terrible Cowboys team and put points on the board, that was going to propel the Eagles like into the, NFC title game and the Super Bowl. It made zero sense whatsoever. But getting back to the playoffs itself, where you say, the Eagles are dead in the water, right? All right, so New Orleans is going to come in here and win. Well, I just watched them get pounded by a bad Tampa Bay team. all right, Carolina's going to come in here and win. Okay, I watched them just about lose to Tampa Bay at home, needed the last play of the game to win, and I watched them yesterday get stomped by Atlanta. It's hard to win on the road in the NFL, and the teams that can come in here, of the 3 teams that can come in against the Philadelphia Eagles, the quarterbacks combined have 1 playoff road win. So it's hard to win in the NFL on the road, Jeff, in the playoffs.
No, you're totally right. But the problem we have is Nick Foles has just looked worse and worse each week. I mean,
you know what, Jeff? I didn't. Sudfeld was like 18 of 21. I watched the whole game. I bet the game. I had the Cowboys. I didn't realize he was like 85% completion.
I'm just being real here. They should start Nate Sudfeld over Foles. I'm just being honest. I mean, we have to look at what we're doing here. We have to try to, give out our best team. And Nate Sudfeld is a little quicker. He can move around a little bit more. I mean, what has Nick Foles shown you over the last 2 games? You give him the benefit that he played well against the Giants. You ride that momentum. He didn't play well against Oakland. He didn't play well yesterday. The truth of the matter is Nick Foles just can't really move around in cold weather. He's not, his ball's not strong enough to move through the air. It's just not a good situation for him. Sudfeld came in, gave you a little energy, and we have to remember Sudfeld did all that without an offensive line. It was all backups and without any playmakers on offense. There was no Alshon, there's no Zach Ertz, there was no
backup line. Yep.
Right.
Will Beatty at tackle.
Right. I mean, come on. Will Beatty against DeMarcus Lawrence. How's that going to work out? It's going to work out the same way every fucking time.
It's funny too, Jeff, because you can get back to the backup quarterback who is Nick Foles, and all you heard all season, like, man, you know what? That's why we brought him back, because he's a really, really good backup quarterback. And then you see the Giants like, all right, this could work. And then all of a sudden you see his flaws out there. You're like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Terrence Kelly with the comment of the day. Don't get scared now, big man. A few months ago, you and Donnie were ready for the Super Bowl because Carson Wentz is the quarterback, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Please, with this stuff. Come on. Oh, now I can't change my mind because Carson Wentz isn't in there.
Dude. Like LeBron James blows his knee out. You're like, oh, man, you were all Cleveland up heading to the finals. Like you lost the single best player in the NFL for your football team. It's probably going to hurt you if you're going to make a run to the playoffs.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Again, yeah. Sorry that I'm not excited over what I saw to Nick Foles yesterday. People, and look, again, people aren't happy with the comment we just made about Nate Sudfeld, but it's true. I mean, it's true. Nate Sudfeld played better than Foles. And I think he gives you a better chance to win than Nick Foles does. It's just the truth. Defensively, they're pretty good. I'm not going to say they aren't. Donnie, I made this comment to you. What the Eagles remind me of right now are a guy that's on death row. All his appeals have been exhausted. He goes to execution in a week, and he's hoping for that lifeline, that last-minute lifeline from a governor to pardon him and say, you know what? We're going to give you another year. We're going to give you another couple of years. Is it going to come? Is that lifeline Nate Sudfeld? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, in Philadelphia this week, the big point of emphasis in this town is Nate Sudfeld being the quarterback. I'll tell you that right now. I know how these fans are. We know how they are. Nate Sudfeld is going to be the topic of conversation in Philadelphia because Nick Foles right now, he can't be too confident.
Foles is starting now. He will start. But the problem, I'm going to be at the game. I love the fact that it's that 4:25 Saturday game. I'll be there, cheering and doing stuff. But I know how fan bases work, Jeff. Nick Foles, starting quarterback. Come on, baby. And we come out first drive, Jeff. And you know Doug Peterson, right, Jeff? We know Doug Peterson. He's going to throw the first 3 plays. And if it's 3 and out, it's going to get ugly so fast, Jeff. You know it.
No, I know. I agree. Terrence Kelly, don't get mad. I'm a fan of the show. I had to get back. Well, I'm not mad. I'm calling you out for arguably the dumbest comment I've seen on here today. We're going again, Terrence. We are going to change our view. Carson Wentz is not playing anymore. 3 months ago, of course, we were excited. Like Donnie said, we had the best offense in the league. We had 11 straight wins. We had the MVP. What do you want me to say, Terrence? Because I'll be honest. I told Donnie this. I haven't cried in many years. I haven't cried in a long time. But yesterday, seeing Carson Wentz walk up that tunnel on crutches while every other team is winning games and got a good defense and has their quarterback. We had to watch our quarterback walk up in crutches because the kid would give anything to be out there with the team. It's like it was like when in Friday Night Lights, Donnie, when Boobie Miles went down. It was like, wow, what could have been,
Yep.
And it sucks. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's like whining about something, but again, I mean, it sucks. I mean, Carson Wentz, watching him walk up the fucking tunnel when he knows, wow, if only I could be out there, and seeing him on the fucking big screen as Nick Foles just can't do anything. It's brutal because what could have been with him in there.
Yeah, no. We'll keep recapping yesterday and some games. Jeff, the game I want to talk about, not even the New Orleans game. Forget about going over every game. We saw Tampa Bay in that game. New Orleans, I don't know what they were doing yesterday, but they seemed to couldn't even get a stop against Tampa Bay. And we'll see what happens with Tampa Bay in the future. Cotter's going to come, or Dirk Cotter's going to come back. Jeff, the game I want to talk about here again.
Another dumb move, by the way.
Here's the game of the day yesterday. I did a lot of shows, and I was venting a little bit on Twitter yesterday. It was 3-11, 3-12 in the rotation. It was Jacksonville, and it was Tennessee. And I want to go over it again, Jeff, because I just can't understand. I know I love the people in the live chat box here, and we'll get some feedback on this. But seriously, it's a new year, right, Jeff?
Sure.
If you bet the Jacksonville Jaguars yesterday, it's all good. It's a new year. Your New Year's resolution should be, I will never bet NFL football again. And I'm being serious with that. What was the case yesterday, Jeff, for the Jacksonville? We talked about it. I know you were on Tennessee all week long. We were going back and forth. What do you think about the Tennessee-Jacksonville game? You're saying you like Tennessee. Say, I love Tennessee in the spot. Was it a blowout? No, but the fact that you could make a case for Jacksonville, Jeff, there was no case whatsoever. It was one of the worst situational spots you could ever have. And I saw people out there thinking Jacksonville was going to come into that game and win. In a game that's a playoff atmosphere at Tennessee, when
right.
Tennessee already cracked them this year, Jeff. Everybody in the building is on notice. Lose this football game, you're fired, and changes are going to be made. Jacksonville coming in here because, Jeff, their head coach on a Tuesday said, we're going to come in here and come hot. We want to win this football game. People bet this football game because the Jaguars wanted to go into the playoffs hot. Talk to me, Jeff.
Well, and they got by Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin with the old bullshit where he's going to play all his starters for some God knows reason. It was an odd move, a move that didn't make any sense. I even said it yesterday, and it was kind of in a joking way, but it's like, why are they in this game? Why are these starters starting? And you're right. If you bet them yesterday, you don't know anything about the NFL. I mean, what was the thought process there? Was it like, oh, well, I guess we're going to just bet against Tennessee because we think, like always, they'll fail? I mean, they're an NFL team. And let's keep in mind, Donnie, I mean, the only reason Jacksonville was anywhere even close to that game, Tennessee didn't make it easy. They didn't exactly pull away, but the only reason they were in the game was because of that fumble recovery, that terrible handoff decision.
Yeah, no, it was 15. It was 15-3. I believe they had a first or a second down heading in like the 25 or 30 yard line to make that game pretty much out of reach, and that did close it up a little bit. But you're right, Jeff. If you can't, I can never get mad at the head coach. Like even Doug Peterson, which I didn't agree with what he did yesterday, and said I'm going to play all my offensive line. We're going to keep our offense intact because I want to see Foles out there. If you want them to go out and say, you know what, I can't have them get rusty. Let me get like a series 2 or 3 out there just to keep them involved in the flow so they were in the flow all week at practice. What I didn't understand from Jacksonville is you went out and you played, somewhat close half. Was it 9 or 12-3 at the half? Why not just pull your starters right there and rest up? And he played them all the way through for no apparent reason other than we wanted to win and we wanted to get hot. So if Jacksonville won against Tennessee, Jeff, 27-10 yesterday, is that propelling them to win in the play? Like, I can't even understand the mindset. That's why the Rams yesterday got smashed by the 49ers. And we'll get to that game in a second. Do you think they care, Jeff, that a division rival smacked the shit out of them at home? No. They're playing for the playoffs. The Super Bowl is much bigger. But Jacksonville, on the other hand, when you don't have a bye week, sure, in a cold divisional game against a physical football team, let's try to go out and win this game, expend all this energy, and lose, fly back home, and still have the same exact playoff game at home that you would have had if you just benched your starters and got them ready for this week.
And I'm telling you, next week, the best bet on the board is the Buffalo Bills +7 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are a fraud, and they're going to be exposed. I told you all this. They are going out in the first round of the playoffs. Blake Bortles stinks. He's a fraud. They can't move the ball. I'm telling you. They cannot move the ball. Defensively, the tape is set, Donnie, on how to beat. And I'm going to tell you right now, you better believe Sean McDermott is going to be ready in that football game. How to, and how to attack them.
It's hard, though, in that game, Jeff, because now you're looking, I mean, the Shady McCoy injuries, they're going to put out all the smoke they want. Shady's going to say he's ready to play, he's ready to go. But if Shady suits up in this game, Jeff, what's it, 3-4 carries before he hobbles off to the sideline? That's such a devastating injury. But my whole point last week with Jacksonville, Jeff, if you just let your starters rest, like the real important guys, got them fresh and ready, they would have dropped the hammer on anybody they played this week. And now you're not fresh. You're not rested and ready. And again, for all these people, like, you need to win, you need to get hot. Well, they lost last week, so that means now they're not hot, so they can't win this week. The outcome last week was meaningless, and people bet that football game because Jacksonville wanted to win. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's the most clueless argument in football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just clueless. LaShawn McCoy is playing. He's not going to not play. I mean, his leg's going to have to be
he's going to play. He's not going to be affected, but you're right. He's a gamer, man. That dude plays.
And
right.
That's a low-scoring game. You attack. Here's how you attack Jacksonville: screens, that kind of thing. I mean, the last 2 weeks they've not played well defensively. I mean, I know yesterday they only gave up 15 points, but still, Tennessee kind of ruled that game for most of it. I like Buffalo. I'm taking them +7.
You know, it's interesting, Jeff, on that whole Tom Coughlin thing as well. Like, Coughlin plays the starters. Coughlin's rested a lot of playoff caliber teams. If you remember, the game that everybody wants to point to is a historical game in the NFL where one team was going to go 16-0 with the New England Patriots, Jeff. Like, they almost had a mutiny that week that said, if you don't let us play, like, we're going to force ourselves to play this football game. And Tom Coughlin got on board and, propelled them to a Super Bowl win because even though they didn't win the football game, it got them ready. So this whole, like, Coughlin always plays starters. He's benched a lot of guys. I remember when they had the bye week. Remember when the Eagles went up there to the Meadowlands to beat Eli Manning and I don't know if Plaxico Burress was on that team, but the Giants, I think, were the number 1 seed. The Eagles went in and beat them. It was the year the Eagles lost the NFC title game at Arizona that year. He rested starters before that. So I don't know how this whole, like, Coughlin always plays his starters. He doesn't always play starters.
Yeah, I think people just kind of pointed to that, and he had done it before. Donnie, how about this? Buffalo beats Jacksonville. Wouldn't they play New England the next round?
Yes, lowest seed, right? They're the 6th seed, correct?
How about that? Imagine they go in and beat New England.
Shady, got to get Shady healthy.
I'll tell you what, I'd be a massive Bills fan that day. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Gabe Morency might die that day if that happened.
We'll see him on the betcast next week. Is Gabe going to betcast that game next week with the Buffalo Bills, or is it too much?
I'm not sure. Donnie, you concerned with a running back again? Let's get that debate going. Oh yeah, yes. Running backs don't matter. Remember?
No, losing Shady. If the Buffalo Bills don't have Shady McCoy, there's zero. Yes, correct. There's zero impact on the Buffalo Bills if they lose Shady.
Some people in this business would say that they might be better without McCoy. That might actually be something. Also, I saw Terrence Kelly was saying that I clowned him. Well,
just stop clowning people, man. Stop.
No, I did, because when you make a comment like that, you're going to have to get called out for it. Sorry. It's like you saying that it would. Here's what it'd be similar to saying. It'd be like me saying to you, Terrence, that how are you so positive on the Cowboys? Like when Zeke Elliott was there and they were playing well. You were confident, of course. When you went down, you weren't as confident. It's the same thing. Of course I'm not as confident. We lost fucking Carson Wentz. Yeah. Of course I'm going to have a different tone on it. And if I didn't, I'd get vilified for being a fucking homer, which I have been on here. So, again, I'm just speaking the truth here. I'm not as excited without Carson Wentz. It sucks.
No, how can you be?
I thought Nick Foles would be good for and it's not so much that – and it's not so, and it's right. That's the point. It's not like I'm even saying, well, I think Nick Foles is horrible. He hasn't even shown me that he can move the ball against bad defenses. That's the concern. What are you going to do against Minnesota or New Orleans? I mean, it's not positive. That's
the one thing that worked out in their favor yesterday. If you're looking from an Eagles perspective, Jeff, is you are going to avoid obviously Minnesota round 1 and also the Rams now. I think the one team, Jeff, if you're looking from, say what you want. I mean, Drew Brees is always going to be Drew Brees, but that one team that can really put it together, that can do damage at all levels, is that Rams team. So at least they're getting a little bit of a break there. You're going to have to beat one of them, Jeff, if you're going to have to go to the Super Bowl. So, but you do hang your hat on the defense. What'd they give up, Jeff? 13 points per game at home, which is by far the best in the NFL. They're pretty good on defense, man.
Now, Donnie, I know you're considered the NFL guy. I get it. And you've had a good year. What's your percentage, Johnny, in college football or in NFL?
I tried, Jeff. I tried to hit 80% this year, but I came up 1% short, 79%.
Now, Donnie, I want you to give me a little respect here, okay?
Yes.
Because I don't fucking give a shit about the NFL. I don't even cap it. I don't even do anything. I did the Twitter Supercard this year, Donnie. I went 51, 32, and 2. Can you give me a little respect for that?
I like it. I like it. So you're telling me you didn't just look at like a spreadsheet and says,
No.
they're in this spot, or I'm just going to fade this spot. You actually looked and just made some simple choices out there that made sense, and it worked. Is that what you're telling me?
I did. How about that?
It's amazing. Like you look at like my capping philosophy. Like me and Jeff are a lot the same. We watch a lot of stuff and what our eyes tell us there, and you can't let your eyes deceive you in some motions. But if you're just out there, like, especially yesterday, week 17. Week 17 is one of the few weeks of the year where the coaches, organizations, everybody tips their hand. So the fact that you're going out there betting Jacksonville or Carolina yesterday, or I even saw some people on the freaking Eagles yesterday, you got to get your head examined, because there's no fading the public. And I even saw, Jeff, the one I love the best. I was on the 49ers at +4 when they just started raising that white flag up for the Rams. And then I see on Twitter yesterday, Vegas don't just give out free money. The Rams are going to cover today. Like, if that's your betting philosophy, I don't know, maybe it's the whole Browns philosophy as well, Jeff, where you just throw it out there and once out of every 10 games you hit it and you go, I told you Vegas doesn't give out free money. Vegas was giving out free money all over the card yesterday if you just paid attention. Yesterday, you will never get an NFL card again like you get on week 17s, because NFL teams are shrouded in secrecy. And you had a week where they're going, he's not playing, he's not playing, he's not playing, and he's not playing. That's free money. If you lost money in the NFL yesterday, just don't bet the NFL anymore. Go.
By the way, and another thing, Donnie, in that contest, we go off of the Super Contest lines, and the Super Contest had the Browns at +11. So, that was free money to me. Seeing the Browns +11 yesterday, they're usually never free money, but they were yesterday.
Funny, it didn't even look like it for a while, too. Like the Steelers were stretching them early, kept it at that like 2-touchdown minimum. But we had there's a couple of people in the chat box that were saying, like, hey, I got in early on the Browns at 14. Should I, like hedge you out or do something like that? I mean, I was telling them, like, I wouldn't touch anything at 14. I mean, that's pretty much a steal. When you steal a touchdown in the NFL and the point spread, I don't even mess with it. Just sit on it and collect your money.
I'll be real, though. I was pretty sick, like, in the first half that I hedged that future, because I was like, it is the fucking Browns. I mean, what's the chance they win? I mean, they're just that inept, and it's, whenever you hedge, it's always, and I don't hedge that much. When you look back and you hedge, you're like, why the fuck did I hedge? But you know what? You had to. I mean, I can't bet on Landry Jones and feel confident. There was a lot of money at stake in that future. I'm not going to just, for all that work, I'm not going to just throw it away over Landry fucking Jones. So it worked out, and it got the job done. But Donnie, I mean, as the year starts here, I mean, we crushed the winter sports, you and I. It's just the truth. I mean, NFL for you. And a lot of the plays, Don, you're giving out for free. You do the shows, college hoops. I mean, there's a lot of talk on these sites, but and on the internet, but we're getting the job done here for you.
Yeah, yesterday for me, Jeff, it was I gave out the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, again, we don't no fake lines. Cowboys were at 4. I gave out 4 on the show yesterday before the game, 1 o'clock on the early closing line. Then me and Gabe came on at halftime, and I gave out the Tennessee game -2.5. So there's some gems out there. We don't always win, but I like the knowledge. Like, if I can come to you and tell you yesterday, like, again, I didn't have a premium play, Jeff, on Tennessee. I didn't have one on the Atlanta Falcons, but the concept was, I don't care who you like in this game. You just can't like the opposite sides of those. I mean, knowledge is king. I mean, I talk to Jeff all the time. Jeff leads me in the right direction. College basketball, for instance, doesn't matter how much it wins by. Jeff hits me up on Saturday or 2 days ago. Donnie, Evansville, 7.5, get on it. Go to my book. I actually got 8 in that game. Done. Didn't watch most of the game. Up 8 at the half. Started squeezing it late. Get the text from Jeff late. Look at that. Bang, winner at the end. I mean, that's, there's certain people you trust in this business where I'm not in the college basketball and capping on a heavy level yet. But when I get information from a guy that I trust, like Jeff, get on Evansville, I'm on it. Winner. Done.
Agreed. And that's, that's the thing. I mean, and that's, you see a lot of these people, 10, 30, 20 games a day. It's like, just find 1 or 2. I mean,
that's all you need to do.
It's a long season, man.
People. Yes. If you could just I tell people all the time, imagine if you just went in the NFL, Jeff, and you're just a common gambler. You like the NFL. You probably work 50 hours a week at your job, so you can't just sit like me and Jeff behind a computer or do shows or dig for information. If you just pick like your best bet of the week, like all 17 weeks, you probably would win money throughout the year. But I know it's recreation. I know a lot of people say, Don, look, man, I just want to sit down on a Sunday afternoon, bet a couple games, cheer it on. And fellas, I fully understand it because gambling for a lot of you is recreation. It's not, I need to pay my rent with this thing. As long as you can have fun with it and you can afford to lose the money, gambling is a lot of fun. It's great. Some people like to go to the movies, Jeff. Some people like to go to the casino and play blackjack. Some people like to sit on their couch with a pizza and a beer and just, bet $100 and watch the game. And if it wins, hey, got some extra money in my pocket for the next week.
Yeah, actually, though, Donnie, yesterday there was an interesting comment made to me. The only way I win is because
by fading you. Yeah.
My parents actually. I'm still under their tutelage. They pay all my bills according to the people on Twitter. So just keep that in mind. The only reason I'm alive is because of my family. They've paid everything for me. By the way, Donnie, I retweeted it. Feel free, anyone interested, if you're not busy today, I did a mid-season college hoops review, just kind of educating you on some of the things I've seen so far. I got about 4 or 5 teams to bet on, a couple teams to bet against. Some of the things that I'm looking at here, Donnie, some of the things that I think are very important to handicapping college basketball in the second half. I urge you check that out. It's about 40 minutes. Check it out. I retweeted it. Donnie, let's get into the bowls here today and chat about that. Got a couple bowls here on the card, wrapping up the bowl season. 265, 266, going off in about an hour and 15 minutes. And keep in mind, guys, we did break these games down. Peter, Jimmy, Drew, and we all did videos for all these games on the SBR YouTube page. But I want to chat about them at this point with some of the new numbers. Michigan -9, 42.5 in a total. When we did this video on Saturday, I said to the other guys, I said, why the hell is Michigan a 7-point favorite in this game? Now it's at 9, and I wonder. First of all, they haven't been able to move the football. I mean, they've been a very pedestrian offense. They have possibly the most overrated coach in the country, and they have a defense that's been good, but they're playing a South Carolina team that's played real good competition. They've been pretty good in their own right defensively. Jake Bentley's been a pretty good quarterback. They're 6-1 as an underdog against the number this year. Why am who would lay 9 points in Michigan here? I don't know that I understand this.
No, it's interesting, Jeff. Watching the last game with South Carolina, that I watched them for a full game, was able to sit down and digest the information. Was that Clemson game? And Bentley, the quarterback, Jeff, was scared to death versus the good defense. Is rubbing off. But you're right. I mean, Michigan's offense, you're saying you have to cover 9, and it's not Jeff. We're not looking at like a 66 total where it's like, what? It's going to be a lot of points in this game, moving it up and down. South Carolina does have a pretty good defense, and that over-under, Jeff, is 42.5 right now. So what do you anticipate? Like a 27-10 type game for Michigan? To me, in this one, though, Jeff, it's Michigan or nothing, because I just can't trust South Carolina's offense against a pretty good defense, even though I don't like Michigan as a team. But I would lean Michigan, and it is -9 at this point. I had it a little bit cheaper earlier, but I still lean Michigan. I just don't trust South Carolina's offense, Jeff.
Now, tomorrow, keep in mind, we will be going through a kind of a recap of the college football season, winners and losers. But I got to tell you, one quickly, Donnie, a winner, Wisconsin. What a team they had this year. What an impressive group. I know they beat your Miami Hurricanes, but again, they just play the fucking game the right way. I mean, they just grind you down. I thought Hornibrook towards the end of the season was really good. I mean, he's a kid that will improve. You look at next year, Donnie, I mean, that's a good football team next year. I mean, they got Taylor coming back. They got Hornibrook coming back. They'll lose.
They were injured this year, Jeff. They were injured at wide receiver this year. They were injured at linebacker, and they seem to just keep on churning and churning and churning. And you're right. Taylor's coming back next year. Hornibrook's coming back. They always have 5 big corn-fed dudes up front. They're going to be hell on wheels in the next couple of years again, Jeff.
And with Barkley leaving, with JT Barrett gone, with some real – I mean, listen, to me next year, the 2 teams I'm looking at, Michigan and Wisconsin. Shea Patterson coming in for Michigan. I love him at quarterback, but that's another story. We'll get to that at another point, but I just wanted to bring that up. I really was impressed with Wisconsin. They gave me a couple winners towards the end of the year, one of which was on Saturday. Really impressive team, but I'm going to go South Carolina in this game. Could be a 24-14 win for Michigan, and I don't cover, but I think Michigan has shown all year that laying points with this group has been a little bit of an adventure. South Carolina, Jake Bentley, you got to run the football a little bit. It'll be a low-scoring, boring football game. Might be one of the more boring games of the bowl season, but I'm going to go with the 9 points here in South Carolina. Donnie, you like the under? Is that correct?
No, I'm gonna lean on Michigan this one, Jeff. The minus the 9. So we'll
Wow,
go
you're
head to head on
kidding.
this one. Yeah. I don't
Kidding.
like what I see from South Carolina's offense just to move the ball. I mean, again, watching that Clemson game, where is Michigan as good as Clemson on defense? Probably not. But just from what I saw, where the kid was scared to death. Like, I can't have quarterbacks or offenses that are just really scared and just like panic. Oh my God, Rush is coming, and just throw it out in the flat for a pick six. That's the only reason why I'm leaning Michigan here.
I got to tell you, Donnie, I think you're overreacting a bit. I mean, Michigan's the same team. I mean, do you trust their quarterback play? I mean, their quarterback play is concerning as well. I mean, but again, I mean, you just got to hope that Peter stays upright. If you got to deal with Wilton Spate in there, I mean, that's not what you want to see if you're a Michigan backer today. Is Harbaugh staying at Michigan? I don't see why would he leave. He makes $9 million a year.
Who wouldn't like that job? Make $9 million a year. You don't have to beat anybody. That's a great job.
I will say this: next year is the year. I think if Jim Harbaugh doesn't perform next year, I think if you're Michigan, you got to seriously consider looking at something else. I mean, this would be what, 4 years? I think next year. You got a quarterback finally, and I'm telling you, you have a quarterback with Patterson. You have McCaffrey coming in as well. You have a defense that's going to all be back. You have all your skill position players, Peoples-Jones back. All these guys back. Next year has to be the year for Michigan. You have a full offseason here. You got your guy all of a sudden. Next year has to be the year for Michigan. Not Wilton Spade. I meant O'Korn, John O'Korn. You don't want to see John O'Korn. That was
same guy. Does it even matter?
Yeah, right.
I know.
They had the same quarterback for about 3 or 4 years. Jake Rudock,
yes,
Wilton Spate, John O'Korn. So yeah, I mean, Michigan next year has to perform. We move on. Being Donnie on opposite sides here, so I guess go with who you you like more. I don't know. Central Florida, Auburn, 12:30. This will be the game I'm watching up early here. Auburn laying a big number. This one's moving up. Last night it was, I don't know, 11.5. It's up to 13, Donnie. Auburn backers coming in. That's one thing, Donnie, you always got to love is you have people that bet in this business that are on shows that are doing things, and they're actually releasing numbers on the day of the game at 13, 14. I mean, what do you expect? If you like Auburn, why the hell are you waiting until today to bet it?
Yeah.
Why?
Catching that steam.
Why are you doing it? I mean, all the fans are coming in betting Auburn. All the boys are coming in from down south betting Auburn. What are you waiting on here? If you liked Auburn, you should have bet them 3-4 days ago. Donnie, I got to love Central Florida. And by the way, I took Auburn in this game when we did the breakdown. You got to like South Florida. Okay, first of all, they're undefeated, which is impressive. I will not tell you anything different. Scott Frost did a great thing with that program, but he's gone. But he's still going to coach, which I hate. Weird. I mean, when you leave. Go away. Stop. Yeah. Don't hang around the program like a guy at the bar that's 40 and everyone else is 30. I mean,
and I don't even understand the concept of him staying there, because is it nice that he's staying and he knows the offense, he knows the kids? Yes, but Jeff, he's at a major program now. The dude was flying around recruiting. Like, do you think his head is all in the game plan? Or is he worried about getting the quarterback right for Nebraska, and recruiting those guys out there? It's a really weird scenario, because you can't tell me, especially with the early signing period now in college football, like he was all in on UCF's game plan. Like, where's his head at?
Yeah, I don't get this at all. I mean, if he wins this bowl game, what is it, like the cherry on top? First of all,
yeah, like exactly right. Exactly. Yes.
Auburn is 10 times more athletic than Central Florida. Even though Central Florida is pretty athletic, Auburn is a different animal, okay? I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, we saw it, Donnie, a perfect example, and it's kind of a mini example, but remember Florida State, Southern Miss? Southern Miss was getting a big number. Everybody loved them. Yeah. Florida State, blah, 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 blah. Florida State's just more athletic than Southern Miss. Same situation here. And I'm going to tell you right now, that Auburn defense, I know a lot of people say, well, Auburn's not, Peter made the comment, Loshak, he made a good comment. Maybe Auburn won't be up for this game. Let's remember, I mean, it is the Peach Bowl. I mean, it's a New Year's Day game. It's not the New Year's, Final Four game, but it's right below it, Donnie. And you've had plenty of time to kind of regurgitate and remember what happened. But you can also look at this team and say, Donnie, not only are they 12-0, one of their running backs is talking shit, saying did you hear that comment? One of the
No, I
running
didn't.
backs.
No,
One of the
what was
running
he
backs
saying?
for Central Florida decided that he wanted to spout his mouth off and say that they're fast and Auburn better look out, blah, 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 blah. That never works, Donnie, okay? And this whole cute little thing about scoring 49 points a game, yeah, that's been nice against SMU and Eastern Carolina and Tulsa and, all that. But now you got to face a real defense. I like Auburn in this football game. I like them up until I like them pretty much at any number. I think they win big in this game.
It's interesting that over-under opens up at 65, 63, depending on where you got it. Sitting at 67. Sportsbook has a 68. Now, your early indication would be like, you know what? I probably would lean on the over, but it's such an interesting dynamic with both of these teams because the physicality of Auburn is going to catch up to UCF. Like UCF's running around their conference going 100 miles an hour, and they're better athletes in their conference. Or excuse me, that UCF has better athletes, than 99% of the teams outside of maybe Memphis, USF, can give them a little bit of a run. But you can't go 100 miles an hour against a team that's physically dominant. Because the one thing you see is, Jeff, is Auburn going to have to bring like 7 guys to get pressure? No. Like their front 4 will be enough to get pressure on UCF. It's going to be fun to see how Mackenzie Milton handles this. But what's your take maybe on the over-under in this situation? Because you're right. See somebody in the chat box saying Auburn puts up 45 points. I think they do. Swings at the bat, or is Auburn just going to be like, look, dude, you guys can run 100 miles an hour. We're going to 3 and out you left and right. Like, it seems like a little bit high, 67. If this game, Jeff, was sitting around that 62, 63, I probably would lean over, but 67 seems a little bit high for me here.
Yeah, no, I think if it goes to 67, that means UCF's going to be in the game. If you like UCF, you probably want to take the over. If you don't like UCF, you probably want to take the under. Southern Miss is not even on the same planet as UCF. Rob Job, you didn't listen. I didn't say they were.
Well, FSU was on the same planet as Auburn either. So
I said comparably, the game is similar. You have 2 top flight generally programs against 2 mid-major programs. That's kind of what I was meaning. The talent discrepancy, the athleticism, no position is Central Florida better at than Auburn. And, for most of the year, I mean, Auburn beat Georgia. We have to remember that. This is a really good football team. Central Florida, look, if they can win this game, Scott Frost might be the king. I mean, he might be the best coach ever if they can win this game. Scott K, like Central Florida. Scott K, I think you're buying a little much. I think he said the money line. I think you're buying it a little too much with UCF. They're a good football team, but we have to remember, it's like, Donnie, it's like in college basketball. I mean, you might have a Vermont. They might go undefeated in their conference. Then they get beat by 30 against a number 3 seed.
Yeah, Jeff, what also is a good point in this football game that you might want to look at? Peach Bowl, Jeff, right? It's a dome. Where's this dome at?
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Right.
Real close to Auburn. They've been there, done that. They played in the Georgia or the Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's going to be an over. Did I miss out on the point where like UCF is going to travel to this game? This is going to be an SEC crowd today. It's basically a home game for Auburn, man.
I mean, Scott K, you can't actually be serious. You actually think there's someone in UCF better than someone at Auburn. I mean, you do realize Auburn is one of the top flight football teams in America, right? You do realize that every recruit they get is like a 5-star. There's a reason Central Florida was 0-12 2 years ago. There's a reason that there are players on this team that were on that team. It's Central Florida, for God's sakes. They were 7-6 last year. Please stop trying to say that you.
I like UCF, man. I mean, I really do.
Sure, of course you do.
I'm telling you, UCF fans are here, Donnie, all weekend. No, I'm not saying they're not. It's a big game for UCF. I'm not saying they're not. But when we match up and say, we're going to put this game in dead heat SEC territory, it's probably going to be a lot more Auburn fans there than UCF fans.
Right, and I do stand by my comment. I don't think there's one UCF player at their position better than Auburn. I just don't. And how are you going to play against a defense this good? Yeah, exactly. Johnny, big ding, ding, ding. Johnny Fiorenza coming in, coming in the day.
That's the tough part. That's the tough part. Right. 4-man pressure. I remember we used to get in these arguments back in the day, Jeff, back when you were a little bit younger. I know you watched the games. Like the Sugar Bowl would always line up like Georgia back in the day versus like Hawaii. Like, oh, man, I haven't seen anybody stop Hawaii. And Georgia would rush like 3 guys and implode the entire offense. It's just different, man. It's just different recruits.
Right. And the trenches are a great place to start. Yeah. but UCF is going to be up for this.
Oh, I'm sure they'll both be up for this football game. It's again, hey, look, if you're taking UCF and you say, no, I'm going to take that 2 touchdowns here because I've watched them play, because they can score, and maybe they'll surprise them, but we've seen this fight before a lot, and there's a reason why this line's racing, where it opens up at 9.5, like, ooh, Central Michigan has a shot, and it's ballooning to 12.5, maybe getting to 13, because we've seen this before, Jeff, where Auburn says, we're going to play base defense, miles an hour, and we'll see what happens.
And this, again, for the sad thing about it is, sometimes these teams will play well. Like, you could make the comment to me, well, Bigman, I mean, Houston beat Florida State a couple years ago with Greg Ward. Good point. I mean, but remember, you're going to have to you got to play perfect. You got to play perfect to stay in a game like this. And I just don't see it here. I like all.
And also, Jeff, and correct me if I'm wrong here in this UCF game. Didn't Scott Frost take like 11 or 12 assistant coaches with him to Nebraska?
No.
They're all out. Like, who's man in the chicken house? You know what I mean? Like, you're getting ready for a bowl, and you probably have your fleet out coast to coast recruiting for Nebraska, and then flying back in for a practice, and then flying back out to go somewhere else. Like, who is really invested in this game? I know Auburn is.
But Donnie, at any level in your life, if someone like is in your life then leaves, it's like, okay, we'll see ya. You know, I mean.
Yeah. And I get it. Like, he's done a lot. He loves that program, right? And that's his baby. They were 0-12. Now they're unbeaten. But there's no, like, you won the conference. You had the perfect season. Step away. Let the new regime get in there. Let the kids get a feel for, like, some of the other coaches, you know, that are involved and who's going to be there next. It just seems like still hanging on. But again, it just gets back to the same point, Jeff. Who's invested here for UCF? If UCF loses this game, dude, they're going to be on a 5-star jet out of there so fast, that coaching staff, to get to Nebraska. They won't even, like, shed a tear at this game.
You know, Scott Frost is literally, Donnie, the guy at the bar that's too old to be there, and he's still hanging around trying to feel relevant. It's like, dude.
Little McConaughey, yeah.
You're 10 years older than everyone else. Go away. I mean, leave us alone. We said bye. It's like the guy that sticks around too long. He says bye a couple times, and then he just keeps talking. Dude, I thought you were leaving.
I have one more beer. He's on 6 more of them. Like,
yeah, it's like, dude, I thought you were leaving. You said bye like 10 times. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the situation for UCF here. And then you get kids talking. It's like that Auburn team's just sitting there, you know, ready, foaming at the mouth, ready to go. LSU, Notre Dame, LSU lane 3, total 51.5. I had a tough one with this. This game to me is one of the tougher bowl games on the card, Donnie. I think I picked – I'm trying to remember what I picked in this game. I feel like I bet LSU. I don't even remember. And I think I only bet LSU because of Ed Orgeron. But now that I kind of look at this game a little bit more, you got to kind of wonder why is Notre Dame getting points? You got to feel like they should be the favorite here, not LSU. But, you know, LSU, SEC, they're going to get the love. I don't have a big feel in this game. Won't have any play on it. Won't have any interest in it either.
Nope, we've seen it before, Jeff. Let's take a look at this LSU Notre Dame game. And you're right, getting the feel for it, who wants to be there, you know. Notre Dame's a pretty talented squad. Obviously, we know LSU is, and that whole problem. Like, can LSU score points? This game is simple to me, Jeff. If you're getting 3 in this game, or 2.5, if you get 2.5, I don't think it's even available out there. If you're getting 3, I would take LSU. And you know what? If I'm getting 3.5, Jeff, I'm taking Notre Dame. It's that simple in this game. Yeah. I could see it go either way in this one. It's just a battle of attrition here on you getting the best line. Give me 3.5 because I just don't like LSU's offense overall. I will take that. But if it's -3, I'll lean on LSU. It's that simple in this game for me.
Brady Martin, big man. What does Ed think about the game?
That's true. Ed's way good. All right, Jeff. Real quick, Jeff, give me 30 seconds here, and I'm going to say, Ed, you know, welcome to the Camping World Bowl. You woke up this morning. I saw you down at the breakfast buffet, man. What were you eating down there, Ed?
Yeah. You know, I got to tell you, one of the best thing about bowl game is the hotel breakfast is free breakfast. You got free Wi-Fi. You also got good biscuits and gravy. I got to tell you, we got an omelet maker as well. I had a little Cajun omelet, a little Southwestern omelet as well. Put a little salsa, put a little gumbo in there. Had a little gumbo on the side as well. You know, the wife brought a couple gumbo down at the bowl here. I got to tell you, as a LSU coach, we on our heyday down here. We're facing a big bad Notre Dame team, but the hotel breakfast is good. And you know what they say down in Cajun country? When the breakfast is good, you're gonna have a good day. We're looking forward to the bowl today, Donnie. Can't wait. Go Tigers.
You know, it's funny. Like, I don't like coach. You know me, Jeff. I don't like him as a coach, but as a personality in college, is there any more likable head coach? Like, honestly, God, is there any? Right. There's not. Like, you ask him a question, he's just like the big guy in the room. Like, Ed, how was your day? I had a, you know, in your, you know, Coach Ed voice. I had a great breakfast. Had a great lunch. met with various guys out there, and he was really good as well. And it's just like he's a lovable guy. I just wish he would just stay out of the offense.
I got to tell you, I can't relate to the guy one bit. I mean, we're about as polar opposites as you can get, but I got to tell you, I think he's entertaining. He seems like and this is why I think people like Ed Orgeron and they have him as a coach because of this orneriness that he has. He's ornery. He's a father kind of figure. I think he is to those kids relatable because a lot of those kids,
yes, because he's one of them.
From the
he's one
South.
of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Did you see the game, Jeff? You watched the game. Remember the Tennessee game in the second half where it was like an absolute tornado, rainstorm, hurricane, and he's in the tunnel getting interviewed, and he's soaking wet. And he's like, "We're just gonna go out here. We're gonna play football here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Go Tigers!"
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, he will stay at programs because of his ability to relate to kids. That's to me what a coach is. A lot of it's X and O's as well, and he's going to have to some point, win football games. But one thing you know about LSU, they're usually relevant, and two, they're going to get good players. He's a great recruiter.
They're going to recruit fertile
I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes you might have to throw away X and O's because let's be real, Donnie. Do you have to be a mastermind to coach in the SEC?
No, you need to more. Obviously, Nick Saban is the greatest game day preparation before the game recruiter there is. He's like the unicorn out there. But the SEC, Jeff, is all about what? Like Les Miles won a national championship at LSU. Why? Because Les Miles could bring in the talent. That's what it's about in the SEC. You have to get more 5 stars than the other guy, and then hopefully you can coach him up and get somebody who can handle him on the offensive side. But you're right about that. I agree. You need a guy like Ed Orgeron as your head coach, CEO. Because you put him in the room with the mom down in the South, down in Baton Rouge, in the 8th Ward or whatever. And he's going to get that kid.
And you can feel comfortable knowing that when you send your kid to LSU, he's going to be taken care of. And that's why he will coach at LSU. That's why I don't knock them for bringing the guy back. Look, if you say to me, hey, would you want Ed Orgeron coaching your team, 4th quarter, they need to get a stop? I'd tell you right now, he'll pump my fucking team up, but I don't know that he'll be able to win me a game. But I think at LSU right now, you got to ride the wave with Big Ed, and you look at what he's doing. New Year's Bowl, Donnie. I mean, it's been a full season. He wasn't a interim coach. He wasn't. He's done a good job, and I agree with your point there, Donnie. He can go into the suburbs of Memphis and recruit. Mm-hmm. He can go into the 7th Ward and New Orleans, Magnolia Projects, and he can get a recruit.
Yep.
And that's
sit down with the mom. Yep.
Right. And that's like why I kind of like Ed, because I think he's just a people guy. He likes people. He likes to interact.
Like if you're a freshman, like you recruited him there, and you're struggling as a freshman. Like, can't you see Coach Ed, like walking over to your dorm room with like 2 sandwiches and sitting down with you? Hey man, we're gonna eat this little sandwich here, and I'm gonna call you. We're gonna call your mom on 3-way right now. I can picture that, can't you?
I got to tell you, I hope one day to meet Ed Orgeron so I can tell him about this impression. We gotta Donnie, next year.
Can we get him on the show? Can we reach out?
Next year, Donnie, we really got to try to do some things with the show as far as going on the road, doing some things with it. I would love to go try to like an adventure to meet Ed Orgeron. Yeah. Go to a big time game, LSU, Georgia or something, and try to find him, and maybe see if he likes my impression. Donnie, let's get into the other 2 games. Someone's asked, is there a time limit? Not that I know of.
No, we'll go whenever. We're not going to
go 3 hours.
6 hours, but yeah, we'll have some fun today.
We're trying to just have some fun, talk about the games here. Georgia, Oklahoma, Donnie. There's a 3 still out there. Bookmaker, you get a 3 still.
I got a 2 right now. I mean, actually, as we're saying it now, CJ Technologies changed a couple, Jeff. Michigan now showing at 8.5. Auburn showing at 11.5. And Georgia right now showing at -2. So it looks like it's coming down a little bit there.
If you like the dog, Oklahoma, you can still get a 3 out there. Bookmaker. Look at this number. Listen, I decided this a while ago. Georgia was the play in this game for me. Listen, I like Baker Mayfield. Kid's a good player, but he is sick. That's a concern for me. 2, I think what Georgia's going to do, Donnie, is really short.
Yeah, but hold on, Jeff. I was definitely sick yesterday. I went 2-0, so take that into account with Baker Mayfield as well.
No, I know. I don't think that the whole him being sick will matter much, but again, and he could do one of those flu game like type performances. But yeah, I think with Georgia here, they're the best defense he's going to face. What they're going to do is the key to stopping Oklahoma is keeping the ball out of their hands. And you're gonna I heard someone mention you keep the ball in front of you on defense, kind of like how the Eagles do, Donnie, on third down a lot of the time, where they'll set up four
Sticks
to
defense, Jeff. Yep,
yeah,
there you go.
right, and just keep everything in front of you. They'll get you give up yards as long as in the red zone you can if 3 times you can get off the field 1 or 2. That's the game. Settle field goals, things like that. Just shorten the football game. Kirby Smart's an innovator as far as defensive prowess. Look, Roquan Smith is the best defensive player in the country, probably. AJ Reed on the back end. I like Oklahoma, but A, they have a limited run game outside of Baker Mayfield. And you look at, Oklahoma on defense, they're nowhere close to these final 3 teams. I mean, they're not good on defense at all. I mean, no one's going to look at them and say, I got to have that defense. I'm concerned about them on the defensive end. Baker will keep it close, but teams like this don't win these games. They just don't. You look at the latest 10 NCAA champions. None of them had bad defenses. You cannot win playing defense like this. It's almost like Donnie in college basketball. You cannot win big games if you don't make free throws. You can't. There's little things you have to be able to do, and some of the things that Oklahoma does, you cannot do in a game like this. Give me Georgia -2.5.
Yeah, I like the defense, Jeff. When you're looking at the disparity, what did we used to rail on? We watched Big 12 football all year, Jeff, and we railed on that. Big 12 teams, Jeff, just don't even make the simple play on defense. It's like a track meet going up and down the field. Now, is Baker Mayfield wins the Heisman just by default? No, he's a really good quarterback out there. But there's something to be said about going up against Oklahoma State's defense and getting massive resistance against a Georgia defense. We saw it all year long. This team is primed and ready, doesn't need to rush 7 guys at you, can go front 4 and get pressure, which is something Oklahoma doesn't see in the Big 12. The only way the Big 12, Jeff, even gets close to a quarterback is like they have an avalanche, zero blitz where everybody comes after the quarterback. They should be able to get to him just with playing a base defense today.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you have a Kirby Smart there on, kind of that defensive-minded guy that, he said plenty of time to prepare for Baker Mayfield. Baker's going to get his. That's what he does. I mean, he's going to go all out. He's a gamer, the kid. He'll. That's when we brought up the whole sick thing. I mean, he'll be in there. I mean, other than if he has mono or something like that, he's going to be in there. He's going to give his all. You got to love the kid as far as being a gamer, but I just trust Georgia more. I like their defense, and I want to go with defense in this game. Plus, I've learned with them, I mean, you're going to keep the football on the ground, Donnie, kind of adopt that, not Army-Navy, but you're going to play that way. Run the football, short passes over the middle. Look, late in the season, Jake Fromm was pretty good for the most part. I thought he kind of grew up throughout the season. They have, that 2-headed monster at running back. Keep the football on the ground, play defense, get an occasional turnover, Donnie. That's going to be big, obviously. I like Georgia here. Should be a fun game, though.
I like both of these games, which is great because, I mean, you're seeing it, Jeff, what, like -2, -2.5, and then looking at the Alabama game 3. You're set for 2 really good football games. There's no like 16.5, round 1 or round 2. So it is going to be 2 good football games here.
People think taking Georgia are retarded.
I knew you were reading that.
What an impressive defensive unit this year against trash teams. Stidham can't throw for Auburn. That's the best team they've played. You must have missed the game when they played Alabama, Reagan. You also don't help your cause earlier in the chat saying that you're close to Baker Mayfield and you're friends with him. So the fact that you just say that is clear you like Oklahoma. And again, we appreciate the opinion, but I mean, I don't think it's necessary to call people retarded. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, Reagan.
Jeff, will he buy points though? If he likes it so much, will he buy points? But will he buy it up to 3 though?
Well, I'm sure he already has. But again, Reagan, you have your opinion. I disagree though. Defensively, I think they're going to shut down Baker Mayfield. Baker's very good. I mean, no one will disagree with you there. But I think he has trouble today here. How long is the show today? We're just going on. We're not sure. We'll probably stay on for another 20 minutes or so. We only got one more game to talk about. Somebody's already hitting the sauce. Good point. Which was quickly deleted by Brady Martin. I guess he didn't want to start any trouble. But I did see that, Brady. You can't get anything by me here. Donnie, do you buy into the fact that Auburn didn't play any good offenses all year? Or
Yeah,
not
what's
Auburn,
that? I mean, come
Georgia.
on. If you no, I mean, we all saw it coming in. I mean, we talk to Kyle Hamburg all the time, one of the good guys there in the chat box, and he was saying it from day one that Georgia didn't have the greatest schedule from a strength of schedule standpoint, but you beat who you beat, and you line up in the SEC title game, and you thunder punch Auburn there, and it all
I
gets back.
mean,
The simplest point though is
Donnie, we're grasping for straws here because you could say, well, Georgia didn't play any good offenses, but I got to tell you, Oklahoma hasn't played any defense like this. I mean, the
that's what I
Conference
mean.
State plan is
That's
a
what I'm saying.
fucking joke on defense. I mean, they don't stop anybody.
It's going to be nice weather, be on grass out there. But you'll know a lot, Jeff. It's one of those games, Jeff. Same thing with the UCF Auburn game. You're going to know pretty much right away and get that feel for like, oh boy, here it comes. Because if Georgia gets the ball first and just grounds and pounds and drives down the field and punches in a touchdown, that's pretty much the way it's going to go the rest of the day. And the same thing with Oklahoma. Watch Oklahoma's first possession today. If they come out razzle dazzle, and I'm talking, Jeff, like 6 plays, 72 yards and a touchdown, they'll be here to stay. But I have a sneaky suspicion that it ain't going to go that way for Oklahoma.
I agree. Alabama and Clemson. Alabama laying 3, total 47. Curious line here, Donnie. I don't know that I understand why Alabama's a 3-point favorite in this game. I know they have the name, but when will Dabo Swinney get the respect he deserves? Don't know that I understand
Maybe
why.
today.
Yeah, I think today. That's a good point. I think Clemson, and I'm going to make this point, I'm already on Clemson. Already bet them +3. I love them in this spot. I think they're the new face of college football. I'm not saying Alabama's not anymore, but I think Clemson's the new face. I think Dabo's the best coach in the country. I think he's proven that lately. You look at what Kelly Bryant's been able to do. I think it's pretty impressive. And he's arguably been a magnificent quarterback for Clemson, right in off Deshaun Watson leaving. I think skill position wise, they have plenty of playmakers, get a pretty good run game. They're up tempo. That's going to be a concern for Alabama. We know they struggle at times against that kind of quarterback. Look, has Nick Saban got time to prepare? Yeah, but so does Dabo Swinney. I think defensively, we could argue Clemson, this might be the best defense we've ever seen from them. The defensive line is absolutely unbelievable. And look, I think Alabama, there's a couple teams that have shown this year you can move the football against them. This is not one of the better Alabama teams. We can try to sell ourselves that it is. And we can, again, Donnie, I don't put a ton of stock in the games last year, but we look at the game last year. The team that Alabama had was better than this year's team. They had O.J. Howard. They had Ardavius Stewart. They had, Reuben Foster, Marlon Humphrey. They had all those guys. They've been injured on the defensive line, Sean Deion Hamilton, guys like that. I just don't think this is as good as Alabama team we've seen. Give me Clemson plus the points. The fact that I'm actually getting plus points here, I'll take that a bank.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was sitting there. I haven't bet the game yet, but I will be on Clemson. I think Clemson's going to win the game outright. But if I can steal, a 3.5, which I doubt it gets there. All the tickets that are lined up on this game, Jeff, opened at 2, sitting at 3, double juice in some spots. I doubt it actually gets to 3.5, but I think Clemson's going to win the game outright anyway. I love the Clemson defense. Brent Venables, what he's done there. I mean, just sit down and watch a Clemson game. When you have that front seven that is so nasty out there, Jeff, we're not talking about an offense for Alabama that's built on sitting in the pocket, delivering and picking up blitzes. Jalen Hurts going to go out there, run around and make some plays, but Clemson's defense is faster than Alabama's offense. Give me that defense, and it's saying something. When you go into a football game, Jeff, looking at it right now, Alabama, notorious. Best defense always on the field, Jeff. Today, that's the exception. The better defense. And how do you beat a Nick Saban defense out there, Jeff? It's not by a lot of the times just sitting back and running a normal offense. You need a quarterback that can get outside the pocket and make plays, and they can do that at Clemson. Give me Clemson. I think they win it outright.
Jalen Hurts is a guy that I'm not particularly a big fan of. I mean, this team, for all the love they get as far as being the greatest program ever, they've had questionable quarterback play for many years now. When was the last good quarterback they had? A.J. McCarron?
Yeah, exactly.
Blake Sims and this crap they put. It's not good enough. Hurts is a decent player, but he's not anything to write home about. Nick, by the way, Donnie, your boy Lane Kiffin, not happy with criticism Jalen Hurts has received. I'm kind of tired of it, Lane says.
I saw Lane on today, yeah.
That's why you bolted away as soon as you could because he was so good, right? Uh, uh, Listen, I mean, the kid's good. He's decent. I'm not going to say he's bad or anything, but I don't think he's any special, amazing quarterback or anything. Donnie, if I asked you right now, who would you want on your team as quarterback? Kelly Bryant or Jalen Hurts? Who would you pick?
It's pretty much the same guy both ways here. Bryant a little bit faster. I don't know. It's a pretty even point there. I mean, I guess Kelly Bryant more physical, so to speak, there, but they're one and the same to me, Jeff.
Okay. Who would you? What defense would you rather have? Clemson or Alabama?
I think Clemson has the better defense, and that's again. How many times have you said that, or even think that? Like Alabama's go, oh my god, you can't move the ball against Alabama. No, I think Clemson is the better defense today, which is crazy.
Coaching. I mean, Dabo's right there. Why are they an underdog in this game? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Bama. It's Bama. It's Bama. That's why. That's all.
And by the way, Kelly Bryant, 67.5% completion percentage. It's like he's like a 58% and he like can, all he does is run around. I mean, Jalen Hurts is an average quarterback. Kelly Bryant is the better quarterback. It's just, I'm sorry, just the truth. I'm on Oklahoma or Georgia, and I'm on Clemson. I think that's the final.
We agree there.
But I'll tell you, I mean, I think the great thing about Oklahoma is if they were to win, at least we get Baker trying to be Baker, and I'm going to tell you right now, a fucking Big 12 team is not going to win the national title. It's not going to happen.
What's interesting too, Jeff? I mean, if they do, kudos to them because you're like Oklahoma's going to have to go through Georgia's defense and then either Clemson or Alabama. If Mayfield beats both of those schools, crown him. Just crown him. Jeff.
I know.
And you know what? And you know what, Jeff? Draft him #1 overall as well if he can do that.
And this all the way goes back, Donnie, to this amazing point that Cliff Kingsbury didn't think Baker Mayfield was
amazing.
He should be fired tomorrow because of that. It's amazing the failure that this guy's been, and he's still the coach.
He goes to a conference foe and hangs it on you, man.
And just shits on you every fucking year. It's amazing. Donnie, if he were to win the national title, where would you rank him among like the Manziels, the Tim Tebows?
Right up there, like you want to like this would be he's going to beat Georgia in a flu game, a great defense, and then he's going to go and take on Bama or Clemson and beat them. He's going to be a one-man show. He's going to be a one-man show. It would be one of the most unbelievable runs I've seen.
But you know what the big shame about it is, Donnie? It didn't matter. It doesn't matter who he beats. He's still not going to be a good quarterback at the next level. That's the truth.
Will he go to the Browns #1? Jeff, if I'm the Browns, I'd take him #1 if he beats both of these teams.
I mean, it's just a sad thing. I mean, J.J. Redick might be the best college player I've ever seen. Jimmy Fredette. I mean, all these guys, they were great college players, but just don't translate to the next level. They're not, Baker's not big enough. He doesn't have big enough hands. Listen, I hope the kid proves people wrong. He's kind of a rebel figure, kind of, if you will. He doesn't care what people think, which I admire a lot. But some of the Big 12 stuff, it's just, I think today we'll realize it's like, oh, well, that's the Big 12 guys for you, Other than that, guys, that's it for the show. I have nothing on the college hardwood today. I mean, there's only 5 games. I just don't have very much on it. Other than that, Donnie, anything you want to discuss here before we wrap it up?
No, we're going to relax today. Got football on all day, a little rehab for me, so hopefully I can hit the ground running tomorrow. Maybe not as sick as the week goes on, but playoffs are this week in the NFL. Some good action to look forward to. College basketball kicking in full steam. A lot to look forward to here, folks, on the sportsbookreview.com channels here. So we'll have a lot of fun going forward, Jeff.
Yeah, as always, join us tomorrow, Tuesday. Real World begins for everyone, January 2nd, the new year. It's time to get some resolutions out there, Donnie. We'll do that. We'll talk about the year that was in college football, relive some of our winners and losers. We'll talk about the Tuesday college hardwood. It's basically college basketball going forward, in the national title game as well. We'll look forward to that as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we hope you enjoy the games. Have a good day with your family, whoever you're going to see today. Donnie, that's it. Everyone have a nice day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.